Hey, welcome back to the Coach's Corner. I'm Andy, and today we have a guest I have been looking forward to speaking with. He's been named as WWE's Breakout Superstar in 2024. He's been the NXT $1 Million Champion. He's a two-time United States Champion, along with many, many other accolades. He's from right down Interstate 81 in Hagerstown, Maryland. You already know whose game it is, L.A. Knight. How you doing, my friend?
Here we are, my man. What's going on?
It's going. I know you're a busy guy right now with WrestleMania season, the road to WrestleMania coming in here, and probably get your hands full. So we appreciate you coming here and
Sure.
being on the Coach's Corner.
Well, here we are. What are we talking about?
So I wanted to get a little bit into kind of your background and how you got into professional wrestling. What kind of sparked your interest?
Jesus. I mean, it was just something I was always into since I was a kid. My dad watched it. His dad watched it. So it was just kind of on in my house. So it was something I was always into, but, I didn't think it was a real career option. It wasn't like, when I was a kid, I was like, oh, I'm going to be a wrestler when I grow up. That wasn't reality. So I went through the normal, I want to be a cop. I want to be a firefighter or whatever. And then, by the time I got to middle school, then I wanted to be a basketball player because I was obsessed with Michael Jordan. So, at some point, though, I learned that I wasn't so good at that, and I only grew to be 6'1". So that wasn't really a reality. So, I don't know. I kind of floundered through, I'd be asked the question, what do you want to do when you grow up? I don't know. I just want to go to college and get a job and yada, yada, yada. That whole dream everybody gets sold. But my first year of college, I went there, started to put on a little bit of muscle. It was the first time I really worked out super regularly, 4 days a week. And that first year I went up 20 pounds and I was like, okay, maybe when I get out of college, I'll go do this wrestling thing. And I started looking into that and kind of gave myself the goal. I said, I can't begin training until I get to be at least 200 pounds. Mm-hmm. So I worked myself out. I fed myself like crazy because I'm like a naturally lean, thin guy. So I just kind of started smashing food, smashing workouts. I got myself up to about, I think 205 or 210 was where I about peaked out when I was about 19 years old. And then at that point in time, it was just time to seriously start looking because college had ended early for me, unfortunately, due to financial reasons. So I ended up having to drop out. And so then I ended up a little bit after my 20th birthday, moving myself to Cincinnati, Ohio to start at Heartland Wrestling Association.
You said wrestling was always on in your house growing up. Who was your favorite wrestler and who did you look up to the most?
Hulk Hogan.
Easy answer.
Gigantic Hulkamaniac. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
I grew up, it was on my house in the height of Hulkamania. So, I mean,
yeah.
The first one I can remember seeing live would have been WrestleMania 3. Mm-hmm. So, seeing Hogan and Andre and all that kind of stuff. But I remember, watching all the what was it, Rock and Wrestling and all that stuff. And, the cartoon where it was Hulk Hogan and his arch nemesis, Roddy Piper and all that kind of stuff. So that was where I was really getting introduced to it.
Who would you consider a mentor when you were coming up through the other promotions?
What is that? I don't know. I never had one. I don't even know. I had trainers, if that's what we're asking, but I think that's different than what I've come to understand as a mentor. I've never really been under anybody's wing or tutelage, so to speak. It's always kind of been a very independent venture, if you will. So I don't think I had that good fortune. Maybe that's why it took me as long as it did, possibly. I don't know.
It worked out.
Yeah.
How much of real life spills over into your promos? How do you prepare for such a great promo? Because you're considered one of the best on the mics, and in my opinion, and many others as well.
Appreciate that. Sometimes the best preparation is no preparation, if I'm honest. I feel like over preparation is kind of the death of a good promo. Mm-hmm. If I'm going to sit there and, write out line after line, hours before, you're not in the moment. And so for me, it's kind of, if I have an idea of where I'm going to go, and yeah, if I can tie in anything that feels as real as possible, then I'm going to do that. But also the idea that, like, let me have a couple key ideas of what I want to say and where I want to go and get that point across, but really just go out there and feel the moment and be in it.
My brother-in-law wanted me to ask you this question. What was it like driving an ambulance on Monday Night Raw?
Well, so my brother actually is a firefighter and EMT.
Oh, cool.
So I immediately get the text from him. Oh, you're finally living out your dream, driving an ambulance. No, it was cool, and learning how to turn the sirens and the lights on and all that kind of stuff. I'm telling you, as soon as I got that thing moving, it was.
You look like a natural,
dude. The gas pedals to the floor. I was like, let's have some fun on this thing. But it was pretty cool, just getting to take that thing and whip it up through that thing. And the funny thing is, so coincidental, because I've now driven two vehicles prominently in that exact same arena, because that's where I drove the Slim Jim car down.
Yeah.
And kind of like slid it in sideways. And that got me hot. And I'll tell you why, because a couple days later, everybody was like, oh, he had a stunt driver. There was no room to switch seats, even without somebody else in the car, let alone a stunt driver. That was 1,000,000% just me driving down there, awesome. Turning the wheel and pulling that handbrake. And so to kind of get to do that again, except now in the ambulance, and this time going out instead of coming in, pretty cool.
You just participated in Elimination Chamber this past Saturday. What's it like going into a match like the Elimination Chamber? How does it differ than you say your regular singles match that we'd see on Monday Night Raw?
Well, sure.
How does the preparation for that differ?
Well, I don't know if the preparation necessarily is any different. The preparation is always kind of just being ready for anything, because it's a wild, wacky world that we live in. You kind of just always have to be ready for anything to be happening and on any of these shows. But as far as the match itself, yeah, of course, it's completely different. I mean, you got that giant structure there, which, I mean, hell, you could see the welts going down Logan Paul's back and everything else from going through the pod. And when you hit that cage, it is not forgiving. There's a slight bit of give that I think anybody can see, that it has a little bit of that, because it's actual like pieces of chain that are kind of making up the actual cell or the chamber, if you will. But it does not feel good. I mean, those are just straight up like big link chains.
Yeah, legit.
And then, the outside of the ring there, that floor, there's a little bit of padding there, but I mean, it's just basically solid ass floor. So when you hit that, it is a thud, and it's not pleasant. So yeah, I mean, you just know it's going to be a little bit more physical. You're going to be taking a few more chances, up there on those pods and stuff like that. So, you just kind of have to throw caution to the wind and hope for the best.
Yep, I hear you there. So we do have WrestleMania 42 coming up now that Elimination Chamber is complete. What are, without going into too much detail, what can we expect from LA Knight going into?
Don't worry about the details, because I don't have any.
There you go. All right, make your own details.
I know about as much as you know. So, and people find that hard to believe. But in all honesty, like, that's just wrestling. When I came up in wrestling, like, I'd say most of the times that I was going to a show, I'd never even met my opponent before. So I'm meeting him, 2-3 hours before showtime, before we're, learning anything. So with that being the case, I don't know a lot. I'd like to know more. But all I know is it's going to be, of course, as it always is, it's going to be a gigantic week. It's going to be a gigantic success. You're talking about people coming from all corners of the world to Las Vegas for, essentially what's our big bash, our big kind of send-off party for the year, where things come to an end and things kind of start blooming into the new. So I'm just looking forward to that whole environment and what that turns into, and that whole week and weekend that happens. And I always love going to Vegas, man. When I lived out in LA for as long as I did, the many different trips and the drives out to Vegas and the times hanging out there, I always love going back there. It has a special place in my heart.
Yeah, well, if your match coming up this WrestleMania is anything like last year's, the physical match you had with Jacob Fatu, it's going to be great. So I have all the confidence in the world.
For sure.
You do a lot for the community around here in your hometown. when you do return back here to your hometown in Hagerstown, do you like to keep a low profile, or do you kind of just embrace it as it
Yes,
comes
I
your
do.
way? Yeah.
No, but I generally generally in life try to keep kind of a low profile. I still like to, move around my life as a normal human being, and if I can be anonymous, I try to, just so that I can still live a pretty normal life. Thankfully, it's not the level of fame of like a Michael Jordan or, a Leonardo DiCaprio or something like that. But it's still to the point where it's like, that there's a good chance that somebody's going to want to take a picture when you leave the house or something else. And so you're kind of always on. But I will try and keep it as low profile as I can. I mean, unless, if I'm in a situation, when I was out at Vegas for New Year's Eve and the promoter I knew there just threw my face up on the ceiling at the club, which was cool. But at the same time, it wasn't my initial thought. But I was like, screw it. I'll go with this. But, if I was at home or something like that, if I go out to a bar or something, I'll give you a great example. I used to love singing karaoke. I never sing karaoke anymore because I don't want to draw attention to myself. So stuff like that has completely changed, where it's just like I don't want the attention. I don't need that because I get that when I'm on TV, and that's really all I need and want.
So I got to ask the question, since you said you were really into karaoke. I'm not sure if the bar was gone yet on South Potomac Street. Do you remember
Potomac? I can already tell you probably not, but go ahead. Peach Pub or Legends? I think I might have stopped in a Peach Pub maybe once or twice because I think it's right across the street from like Bulls and Bears or something. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
think I might have been in there once or twice, but never karaoke or anything like that.
Yeah.
The only karaoke I can recall doing in Hagerstown was like one time at Green Turtle and what was it? What Barefoot Bernie's used to do it. On like Cancun, Thursdays or something like that back in like 2009. So I spent like a summer at home in 2009, and I was there like every damn week. It was it was me and there were sometimes I'd grab these group of girls and I'd call them to see you next Tuesdays, and they'd join me there. You can put that one together.
I love it. Well, LA, it's been such a pleasure having you on here. I really appreciate your time. I know you're a busy, man. We'll let you get going here. Good luck in your road to WrestleMania coming up and for the rest of the season we have coming up and everything else you do. Thank you so much. Hopefully we can connect again in the future.
For sure, man. I appreciate you having me. Yeah.
It's the Coach's Corner with Andy.
Covering Tri-State sports, it's the Coach's Corner with Andy.